talk about strategy design pattern. Strategy design pattern is a behavioral pattern. This pattern enables selecting an algorithm at runtime. Instead of implementing a single algorithm directly, code receives runtime instructions as to which in a group of algorithms to use. In this pattern, we create objects which represents various strategies and a context object whose behavior varies as per its strategy object. The strategy object changes the executing algorithm of the context object. Let's take an example where we have a strategy interface and we will have two strategies. One is sum strategy and the other one is multiply strategy. Sum strategy and multiply strategy will implement strategy interface, and within the context, we will decide which strategy to use. By passing sum strategy, the context will execute the corresponding methods within the sum strategy, similarly for multiply. And we have a strategy test that will help us to execute this scenario. Let's build this example and see how it works. Let's go to a Visual Studio Code and create a new file called strategy.java. This is an interface, and let's create a new method called int execute, and the parameters would be number 1 and number 2. Let's create new strategies. One would be sum.java. That will implement strategy, and let's override that method public int execute and int num1 and int num2. As this sum, let's return num1 plus num2. Let's create one more strategy called multiply.java. This will implement our strategy interface and override the method execute int num1 int num2. Within this, we will return num1 into num2. This is return. Let's create our context class, context.java, and let's create our strategy. And within that, we will create a constructor context strategy, and we will say this dot strategy equals strategy. And here we will have a method int execute strategy that will take int num1 int num2. Within this, we will return strategy dot execute num1 and num2. So based on the strategy that we have set, it will execute corresponding method within that strategy. Let's go ahead and create our final class called strategy test.java, where we will create our main method. Let's create our context equals new context, and let's pass new sum strategy. So here we would like to execute method within sum. So we will say context dot execute strategy num1. Let's pass 20, and let's get it and print it in a variable print line sum. Similarly, let's go ahead and use the same context object and create a new context and new pass multiply. Same context but for multiplication. Let's create a print statement here, system.out.println and multiply, and we would say context.execute strategy 2020. Now if you see here, we have created a context and then passed some strategy. So based on the strategy, it will execute strategy corresponding to the sum. Similarly, here it will execute the strategy corresponding to multiply. Let's go ahead and compile these files. javac *.java. This will compile all the files within this directory. Then let's test this example. Now if you see here, execute strategy, sum has added these two numbers and it has printed here. Similarly for multiply, it has executed multiply strategy and it has printed as 400. This is a basic example of strategy pattern, and this could be used for complex situations and complex algorithms to decide different kinds of strategies based on the need. Hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.